welcome back to my channel. I'm Ria for those of you who don't know me, and I'm here with another vlog of it. So I usually recommend books, I recommend book to movie adaptations, book to series adaptation, and yet I am with another adaptation that recently got dropped on Amazon Prime. So we are talking about Every Year After on Amazon Prime because I have been sitting with my feelings with longer than a week now, and I cannot simply just keep them inside any longer. So if you have been anywhere near a book talk in last 3 years, you know Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. 6 summers, one claustrophic moment, a love story that made grown adults sob into their pillows on a Tuesday night. That's the book, it's iconic, we love it. Amazon went ahead and made a show, renamed it Every Year After, dropped all 8 episodes at once, like they know we had no self control, and I, a person with absolutely no chill and no self control, watched all of it in one go. So today we are doing a full review and a book versus the show breakdown for you guys. What worked, what did not work, and honestly some of these changes we'll get into it. Spoiler warning coming later, I'll let you know when. For now, let's start with zero spoilers. So if you haven't read Every Summer After, what I have been doing with your life, guys? And number two, quick summary because I got you guys. So Percy Fraser, short for Persephone, is just already a lot. Is in her late 20s, living in Seattle, working as an obituary writer, which is the most emotionally on board job for her, and she gets to call back to Barry's Bay, which is like a fictional lakeside town in Ontario, Canada. The reason Sam Florrick's mom has just died. And Sam Florrick is just so happens to be the boy Percy spent 6 summers falling in love, irreversibly in love with. But before one absolutely terrible night blew the whole thing up. So the book flips between two timelines, the summer of the past where you watch everything being blossomed, and the present week where Percy tries to hold herself together while being in the extremely close proximity to the person she never got over with. It's brutal in the best way. So Carly Fortune, the writer, she writes this novel like she has some personal vendetta against your emotional stability. The book spent 16 weeks on New York Times bestseller list and sold over 1 million copies. The book talk hashtag hit 81 million views on TikTok itself, and people were not normal about this book, myself included. That time I was in India, so I didn't have TikTok, but then I did the research and I realized that it had hit 81 millions over it. So yeah, big shoes, very big shoes. How the show filled them, let's talk about that. Every Year After landed on Amazon Prime on 10th June. All 8 episodes, no waiting, just pure chaos for your weekend plans. It stars Sadie Soverall as Percy. You might know her from Saltburn. She was very unhinged in that, but in a great way. And Matt Cornett as Sam from High School Musical, the musical series. Now, I was nervous about the casting, if I'm honest. I'm not going to lie. Percy and Sam live so specifically in readers' head that the casting is basically impossible to get universally right. But Sadie Soverall, she gets it. There's this specific flavor of I am completely fine, everything is fine, I am not dying inside that Percy requires. And Sadie has nailed it. And Matt Cornett as Sam is warm and grounded and honestly a little too easy to fall for, which is exactly the problem. See, visually the show is stunning. The summer flashbacks have this golden, hazy quality that feels like a memory you're not sure if it is quite real or not. The present day sequences are cooler, a bit grayer, which I feel is a smarter choice. It feels like Percy's emotional state is made into a cinematography, which is absolutely fabulous. Now, let's talk about the critics. They were not united on this one. Verity said they loved it, called it emotionally rich and genuine depth, whereas the Hollywood reporters called it dull and dour. They said it is so obsessed with its own heartbreak that it actually forgets to sell the actual romance. And honestly, that critique is not nothing. They have a huge thing. Whereas Rotten Tomatoes had hit it around 70 to 85%, saying mostly positive, but people do have opinions. My verdict sits somewhere in between, leaning towards a little bit positive, but let's get specific, guys. Spoiler warning, guys. Spoiler starts now. If you haven't watched or read and you care about going in with a fresh mind, pause, go do that, come back, I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. I have snacks. We are diving into books versus the show, the glow ups, the fumbles, and the why though moments. Okay, for my fellow book girlies, here is where I need you to breathe. Some of these changes are actually really good. Some of them made it like a noise. Let's go. First change. They moved the setting, and I am a little bit salty about that if I ask you. In the book, Berries Bay is specifically in Ontario, cottage country. Percy is from Toronto. There's a very particularly Canadianness to the whole thing that felt grounded and real. The show filmed in Vancouver, and while it is gorgeous, because Vancouver is always gorgeous, let's just put it out there, it loses some of its specific sense of place, I feel. If the Canadian setting was the part of what you loved about the book, you will feel this absence. It's not a deal breaker, but it does shift a vibe if you are more inclined towards the book. Number two, the supporting cast gets their own lives, and honestly, good for them. This is probably my favorite change, and I will die on this hill. In the book, we are fully locked inside Percy's head. Chantal, her best friend, and Dahlia, who has her own messy history with Florrick brothers, exist. But they're kind of just scenery, right? The show says absolutely not. Chantal gets whole storyline. Dahlia, played by Abigail Cowan, gets real depth and new love triangle with Chantal and a character called Jodie. So, Abigail Cowan said herself that the creative team gave Dahlia a lot more to explore, and honestly, it shows in the show. The book is an intimate because it's only Percy's perspective. The show is richer because it lets other people also be there and be complicated too at the same time. Both are valid choices according to me. I happen to love what the show did here. Like, they were actually making those fictional characters into like real life characters, and they were explaining, even though it was all fake, that why they gave the story and why they had to put it out there to make the show line or to make the storyline feel more integrated. Change they did is Sue Florrick is more present, and I was not ready for it, guys. In the book, Sue, Sam and Charlie's mom, the woman whose death sets everything in motion, is mostly experienced through flashbacks and through how much everyone loved her. She's felt but really not seen, if I put it out there. The show cast Elisha Cuthbert in the role and gave her an actual screen time. Her presence and her loss is woven through the whole series. And I am not going to pretend I didn't cry about it, because I absolutely did. This is a change that adds an emotional weight rather than taking away. So I am giving it full marks. I like this a lot. So the fourth change is the romance pacing. Okay, this is where I have actually taken notes for you guys. The book's romance works because of its rhythm. It is slow build, and slow build. And then in one moment that denotates everything. It's tight, it's controlled, it hurts exactly where it is supposed to be in a right manner. The show across 8 episodes stretches that rhythm. And there are moments where it leans so hard into the sadness that it actually forgets to give you enough joy at first. The Hollywood Reporters complain that it forgets to sell romantic fantasy. And probably I think it is true here. You cannot make me care about the heartbreak if you haven't fully let me felt the love. A couple of middle episodes loses the thread a bit if you watch it in a whole one run. That said, the final episodes recover it definitely. They brought back that specific ache that is there in the book and what the show is trying to show you. I might forgive them, but it does not change the fact that it actually stretches over time. So the last change is the present day resolution gets more complicated. Without going into the full details, the show adds more external obstacles in the present day rather than in the timeline, meaning the book's resolution was way more cleaner and more emotionally direct. The show adds layers that some people will read as a death and some people will read it as unnecessary drama. Personally, I have mixed feelings about it. I understood what they were going for. I am not sure whether it was earned or not. But I also wasn't throwing my remote at the television, so you can guess it is not that bad. Now comes the final part, the verdict. Alright, bottom line, is every year after worth your time? Let me put it out there. If you love the book, watch it, but manage your expectations like a mature adult, which I know is hard when you are emotionally attached to a fictional people like me. The soul of Percy and Sam is there, we know that. The dual timeline is there, we also know that. Chemistry, definitely, but it's not faithful recreation of some the intimacy that comes from being inside one person's head, and it does get lost while they are trying to portray the story. You will probably have at least that one, but why did they change that scene? Why did they change that moment? Was this necessary to put this thing out there? That's just book to screen adaptations life, we all know that. Honestly, if you have never read the book, you might have a better experience in watching this for the first timer because you're not comparing it to the book. You'll just get a beautifully short summer romance with a genuinely moving central relationship and interesting side characters. No baggage, just vibes. Sadie Soverall and Matt Cornett carry this show and they carry it really well. The final two episodes, especially, something happens to the pacing and the emotion kicks back in proper manner, and I was once again a person crying at a fictional people on the screen, which is really all I ask of a romance adaptation when you know it is one which gives you an emotional heart attack. Is the summer I turned pretty? Look, Amazon would love it, but it's not quite there. But it's doing its own thing. It's messier, it's little sadder, it's more interested in the grief than I expected, and I genuinely think it's worth 8 hours of your life. Show rating from my side is a solid 7 out of 10. For me, the book was 9.5 and it's not even close, but that's a completely different video for that and that's a completely different topic. Comes the big energy. Ake, I need to know. Have you watched it? Have you read the book? Are you Team Percy? Or are you a Charlie girl? Because if we need to have a conversation. Drop everything in the comments. I'll read all of them and I have opinions about your opinions. Okay? Playlist for more book to screen chaos is linked below. Subscribe if you're new and like this video, and if you're staying, it genuinely helps more than you think. I'll see you in the next one. Go read a book or watch the show. Do both. Bye bye.